Hello and welcome. In the world of nutrition, there are few things that get people as fired up as red meat. Is it a superfood or is it slowly killing us? Today, we are going to cut through all that noise and get to the bottom of the big question. Is red meat a friend or a foe? You know that feeling, right? You're looking down at a beautiful steak or a juicy burger and that little voice in your head pops up. That question, that's the heart of the confusion, and it's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so first things first, let's get our definition straight. What even is red meat? Well, scientifically, it's any meat that comes from a mammal. The red color, that's from a protein called myoglobin. Now, this includes the obvious stuff, beef, lamb, goat. But here's the one that surprises people: pork. Yep, even though it's called the other white meat, because of its myoglobin content, pork is technically a red meat.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with a case against red meat. Then we'll flip the script and look at all its benefits. From there, we'll get practical: how to eat it the right way, what are some smart substitutes, and finally, how you can make your own informed choice.
All right, let's dive into the tough part first, the case against red meat. This is where all those scary headlines come from, so it's really important we understand the science behind them.
This is the big one. Back in 2015, the World Health Organization's Cancer Agency released this bombshell report. They put processed meat, think bacon and hot dogs, in the same Group 1 category as things like tobacco and asbestos. Whoa. Unprocessed red meat got a Group 2A label, which means it's probably carcinogenic. This single report is really the foundation for so much of the modern worry around red meat.
But, and this is a huge but, it's absolutely critical to understand that not all red meat is created equal. There is a world of difference between a fresh cut of steak and processed meat. Processed meats have been changed. They're salted, cured, smoked, loaded with preservatives. And the science is pretty clear. This is the category that carries the biggest, most consistent health risks.
And the numbers, they really drive this point home. A massive Harvard study that followed over 100,000 people for decades found a pretty startling link. For every daily serving of processed red meat, the risk of dying prematurely jumped by 20%. For unprocessed red meat, it was 13%. So yeah, the type and the amount you eat, it really, really matters.
So to wrap up the downside, a whole bunch of studies connect a high intake of red meat, especially the processed kind, to a laundry list of serious health issues. The link to colorectal cancer is probably the strongest, but the research also points towards higher risks of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and other major problems. Okay, but that's only half the story. Now let's flip the coin and look at the benefits. Because let's be real, there's a reason humans have been eating red meat for thousands and thousands of years. It's an incredible source of nutrition. I mean, red meat is just jam-packed with stuff our bodies need, things that can be kind of hard to get from other foods. We're talking high-quality protein, the literal building blocks for your muscles and bones. It's also one of our best sources of iron, zinc for your immune system, and vitamin B12, which is absolutely vital for your nerves and is pretty much only found in animal foods. And one of red meat's biggest superpowers comes down to the type of iron it has. It's called heme iron, and it's just way, way easier for our bodies to absorb than the non-heme iron you find in plants. This makes red meat a fantastic tool for fighting off iron deficiency, which is a really common problem. And this easy-to-absorb nutrition becomes a really big deal at certain points in our lives. For kids who are growing, that iron and zinc is crucial for brain development. And for older adults, that high-quality protein is a key weapon in the fight against age-related muscle loss. So, we have serious risks on one side and powerful benefits on the other. How in the world do we navigate that? Is there a way to get the good without so much of the bad? Well, the answer seems to be yes. And it all comes down to finding a healthy balance. So what's the magic number? Well, after looking at all the evidence, most major health organizations have landed on a pretty clear recommendation. They suggest keeping your cooked red meat intake to no more than 350 to 500 grams a week. If you're trying to picture that, it's about 3 normal-sized servings. That leaves plenty of other meals for other kinds of protein. But it's not just about how much you eat, it's also about how you eat it. Here are 4 simple rules. First, go for leaner cuts and trim off any visible fat. Second, keep an eye on your portion size. Think about the size of a deck of cards. Third, think about how you cook it. Super high heat, like charring on a grill, can create some nasty chemicals, so slower cooking methods are safer. And finally, always pair your meat with a ton of plants.
All that fiber can help offset some of the risks. Now, for all those other days of the week when you're not eating red meat, there is an amazing world of healthy, delicious alternatives to explore.
So let's do a quick compare and contrast. You've got white meat like chicken and especially fish with those amazing omega-3s. That's a great choice, lower in saturated fat. Then you've got your plant-based proteins, beans, lentils, tofu. These guys are awesome. They're packed with fiber, have zero cholesterol, and are linked to a lower risk of disease. The only thing you need to watch out for is getting enough B12 and iron.
And making these little swaps can have a huge, measurable impact. The research is so clear on this. Studies show that if you just replace one serving of red meat a day with a plant-based protein, you significantly lower your risk of premature death, especially from heart disease. That's pretty powerful. So, after looking at all of this, the good, the bad, and the complicated, where do we land? What's the final verdict on red meat?
Well, the truth is, it's not a simple good or bad. The real verdict depends entirely on your approach. Here are the big takeaways. First, the danger is in the dose. Moderation is everything. Second, processed meat is the real problem here. You want to limit that stuff as much as you can. Third, how you cook it really matters. And finally, balance is your best friend. A varied diet is always going to be the healthiest way to go. Ultimately, the role that red meat plays in your life is your choice. It's not about slapping a simple good or bad label on a food. It's about being informed. By understanding the risks, appreciating the benefits, and being smart about it, you can decide where it fits into your life. The question isn't just what the science says, but what choice is right for you. Thanks for tuning in.